Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to the Author's Alley. I am your host, Mr. Frederick Beaty. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in to us tonight. You guys could have been anywhere else, but you guys are right here with us, and we are so glad that you are here with us, rocking out with us, and tuning into us on a Friday night. I most definitely appreciate it. Most definitely appreciate it. Most definitely appreciate it. The young lady to my left, or your right, or however you're viewing her, she's my special guest tonight. But before we get into any of that, I do want to make a couple of announcements before we jump into this. So first and foremost, I want you guys to continue to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and also on LinkedIn at Trailblazers Radio. And also keep your ears and your eyes to the ground for us because we got some great content coming from you guys. We welcome back a returning host by the name of Bobby, and she literally took over on Tuesday, and she really just hit everybody in the heart with an amazing story, but also a story of hope, and also a story of just really just saying that with God anything's possible, guys. So make sure you tune in to us. And also we got My Life Has Destiny with Quint Jones and Coco Fenton, and they're doing what they do, making it happen. So yes, indeed. So you guys continue to tune in with us, and we got some great things going for you. One quick announcement before we do anything really. The great folks at Page the Label, which is a record label which has a bunch of artists up under them. They wanted me to give this announcement really quickly. So they have an album release party. Now this is if you guys are in the Massachusetts area. Now they have an album release party at a location to be determined. This is going to be on February 26th. This is going to be from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. Tickets are $35. You have to have a ticket to enter the venue. No, there will be no selling tickets at the door. A dress code will be strictly enforced. If you want to be a vendor, or if you're looking for, forgot to tell you guys, there will be a shuttle service to and from the venue. If you guys are looking to be a vendor, or if you want to book shuttle service, there's a telephone number here to call. That telephone number is 860-796-9018. So that's if you're looking to be a vendor, or if you're looking to get limo service to the venue. Once again, if you're in the Massachusetts area, February 26th from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. Page the Label is going to have an album release party. Dress code strictly enforced. Location to be disclosed at a later date. Now that is out the way, let's get into it, and let's talk to this young lady that we got in the studio, in the building with us right now. I don't think I need to give this lady an introduction, but hey, I'm gonna do my level best right now. So this lady is a phenomenal writer, a phenomenal author. She is the author of the Brick City Wife series, and she has an amazing yet cautionary tale I want her to tell everybody about. And I'm gonna let her loose and say and just do what she do. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have the incomparable, the Miss Ashley Brown. What's going on, sweetie? How are you?
Hey, how are you? I'm in the building. What's up?
Nada. How was your Friday?
My Friday was busy. All my days are busy, but I'm here. I wouldn't be a Brick City wife if I wasn't busy.
Okay. That's what's up. So tell everybody a little bit about who you are and where the name Brick City Wife came from.
Okay, well, I'm Ashley Burgess Brown. That's the name I go by. I was born and raised in Newark, New Jersey. Newark is one of the biggest cities in the state of New Jersey. We have many different areas and wards. So if anybody asks me what part of Newark I was from, all over. I was born on Prince Street. We moved to Hill Manor on High Street. Grew up in Little Bricks at my grandmom's house. Bradley Court, which we call Hooterville. That's all over. Then we moved down to Bergen Street in the townhouses. Clinton Avenue, Peshine, whatever. I'm from all over North New Jersey. Um, Pretty much Brick City Wife came from the name of I was a young girl. I never really was exposed to the outside life, even though I lived in the middle of the urban area. I know a lot of people hear about Chi-Town, Chicago, but there's also a Newark, New Jersey. A lot of people know about Newark as well. Born and raised right in the middle, the center of the urban area where there was a lot of crime activity going on, a lot of drugs. But I didn't know anything about that growing up. Like my mom, she didn't expose me and my sister to any of that stuff. I didn't know anything about the street life, what was going on. I didn't know anything about drugs or none of that until I met this young man. I was 19 years old. Let me see, was I 19? Yeah, I was 19, just got out of high school at 17. Then I went to college and I met this young guy. And by me meeting him, by the time I was 19, I got exposed to everything that was going on in Newark, New Jersey. Ooh. Stuff that I didn't even know happens in Newark, New Jersey.
Man,
and I became his wife. So I'm one of the wives of Newark, New Jersey who experienced everything. I experienced the street life. I experienced the business side. I've experienced all different sides as being a wife of a brick city. I don't know what we want to call him.
Well, just call it what it is. You know, he was out there hustling, and then he was a hustler. If he was out there trapping, he was out there doing what he was doing. I mean, just call it what it is.
Yeah. So that's pretty much my story of how I became a brick city wife.
So what? So you said you weren't exposed to anything outside you weren't exposed to anything outside of the four walls of your home. So how was that experience? How was that for you being exposed to everything outside of the four walls of your home?
It was different because riding around the city, the streets, the city of Newark with him, seeing different things that go on, it was different for me. I was like, wow, people really actually do this. Like people really actually shoot people down in front of you. Not saying, I'm talking about other people. Like you can actually see this going on outside. Like I heard about it. Yes, I've heard about it. And I used to be the type scared. Like I used to be scared of guys who did pills. When I was in high school or middle school, I used to be scared of guys who sold drugs or did pills or anything like that. But once I met my husband, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I was always book smart, but he showed me how to be street smart. So like right now to this day, I still know how to hustle. I know how to survive. That's one thing he left with me. He taught me how to negotiate. I could walk in somewhere and they tell me the price is $30,000. I pretty much could talk you down to maybe about $22,000. That's something he left with me. I appreciate that.
Wow. So you're being exposed to all this stuff at a young age, number one. And then you're also seeing things that you probably normally wouldn't have seen at a young age. And then you're being exposed to other things outside of the four walls, but also other things such as, let's just call it for what it is, sex and sexuality and things of that nature. How were those experiences? Like I said, because again, you were kind of here as a shelter child, and then you come out at 19 and then you're exposed to everything else. So how was that, first of all, how was that, man? Well, I mean, not to dig in your business or anything like that, but you were married, but how long were you married?
Um, we was together. We got together in 2005. We got together in 2005. I had our first child in 2006. So that means that I met him on Christmas Day of 2005. We moved in with each other January the 5th of 2006. So that means like we hit it straight off the bat. He got incarcerated for a couple of years. He came out, and then we got married. So up to this day, I can say we've been married for about up to this day 10 years. If he was still alive,
Oh,
if
so
he was still alive, it would have been 10 years.
wow. So he said he was if he was still alive. So how did he leave this earth?
Well, he was killed. He was killed
Okay.
in 2019. So basically, that's what inspired me to write this book, because when he was alive, I didn't think anything about writing a book. I knew that my pain, the way how I express myself, my pain was always on paper. Always. Like, my happiness is through music, but my pain is through writing. And once he was deceased and me sitting there coming to reality that this is really real, what happened, I just started writing. And I said, you know what? I've learned so much through this journey with him. I think I need to go ahead and put this into a book. I need to, because it's no way in the world that I've experienced all of this stuff in all of these years, and I don't put my story out there, because I know it's plenty other women my age, older than me, younger than me, about growing up. That's, some of them are in the same situation that I was in. Some of them are gonna be in the same boat that I was in. I learned a lot, and it grown me into being the woman that I am now. My life played out in public. People seen what I've been through, live. So I just felt like, you know what, let me just go ahead and put the pen to the paper. Some stuff in this book, like, this is based on true events, but not all of it. Not all of it is true, but it's based on some true events. I just had to put the pen to the paper and put my finger on the keyboard, because I was like, okay, I'm 35 now. Young girls learn from me. Like, my DMs on Facebook, Instagram, all of that was blowing up. Girl, I'm so happy you posted that. You just made my day. I thought I was the only person going through that. I thought I was the only person who ever experienced that. I don't know how to talk to anybody. People, like young girls, women, they know they can come to me. They can ask me. They can talk to me. My life played out publicly, and now it's not all of my life is in this book, but some of my experiences are in this book, but not all of them, because of course there's some scenes that make it more interesting than what it really is.
Of course, of course. So when you say experiences, what experiences are you specifically talking about?
Being a young mother, raising her child single, and when I say single, because he was incarcerated.
Right.
So I'm talking to, so I literally took, when I used to visit the jail, I took my son with me. I knew how to I didn't even know what a deck of heroin was. Okay. So if we want to be real and get all real deep into it, I can recall one time we were driving, we got pulled over by the cops. At this time, I'm literally like 22. I'm 22 now. Or maybe 23. The cops pulled us over. and I'm sitting right next to drugs on my door. On my door. So when they pulled us over, the cop got nasty with me. She said, "You don't know what this is?" I said, "No, I don't know what that is. What is it?" Because I thought it was just a piece of paper rolled up. Like, I thought it was a flat piece of paper rolled up into a little square. The North cop got so nasty with me. Brick City cop got so nasty. She was like, "You mean to tell me you don't know what this is?" I said, "No, what is that?" She was like, "Where you from?" I said, "I'm from here in North." She said, "Okay, use a mother effing lie. You know what this is." And literally, I didn't know it was a deck of heroin on the door. But one I told at the time when he was my baby father, he was like, "Ma'am, I'll take the charge. It's not her. She don't even know what that is. She don't know nothing about that." And okay. From that day on, I knew what a deck of heroin was, to the point where I started wearing them big North Face. I don't know if you remember them big
I
North
do.
Face.
I do.
I used to, because I was a young female, the cops wouldn't really look at me. So I would wear big gray North Face up and down the street, literally stacked with drugs in my coat.
Oh man.
Like I was the transport. Like, I would take it from the avenue to the house.
So like a mule, so to speak.
Huh?
So like a mule, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
so I was introduced into that world, didn't know anything about it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I learned how to I learned how to hustle. That's not nothing to be proud of, but it's
Right.
just an experience that I've learned. I mean, I never knew that, people actually was losing their parents because they was strung out on drugs. I never knew that that was actually a life for people until I started, I went out and I started seeing people nodding off and kids crying and all of that stuff. I didn't really see, because when I was under my mother's roof, we had to be in some type of program. So
Right.
I was in every club. I was in a sisterhood club. I was in softball. I was in what I did,
Everywhere.
cheerleading, sisterhood, softball, student council, student government. I was at the writing club, the poem clubs, like sisterhood, every type of club you can think of. My mother made sure I was in a club. So
Everywhere.
by the time I met this guy, it was a wrap. Like, oh my
Wow.
God, all of this going on. This is exciting for me. Like, I'm in the street. I get to breathe. I get to be with a guy. I get to have somebody touch me. Like, that's how it was for me once I turned 19. I was out there.
Now
Not
did you
literally, but I
wow.
was more in the background. People didn't really see me up front.
Now when you was exposed to all this, did you ever consider that a lot of this stuff, at least some of it, had some inherent danger behind it?
Oh yeah, because I end up getting locked up behind it. I got, but I didn't serve any time. I didn't serve any bids, anything. I got locked up. The cop thought she was gonna charge me for drugs, but once he took the charge, it just turned out to be like a simple ticket on my behalf with like tinted windows of a car because the car was in my name.
Right.
But hell yeah, to danger, I did. I pretty much it was, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say yeah. Yeah, danger, yes.
Wow. So I mean, but then once you know that there was some sort of danger there, was it any thought in your mind to say, hey, this is even though this is a nice experience, but it's also a very dangerous experience. Did it thought ever occur to you to like maybe I need to not put myself in these type of situations because certain situations may go down and it's not guaranteed. I may either number one walk it off or live to see the next day. Did that ever come across your mind?
Nope, nope, because my man was the head honcho of the city. He was my protector. I didn't think nobody could touch me. Nobody could say nothing to me or nothing besides God. He was second. He was my protector. So no, nobody could touch. And even when if I got in trouble, he would run to my rescue. Definitely run to my rescue.
Right. God, I feel you on that. Now, someone that does that there now, just to be real about it, now some people that do things like that, there's also another side to that person. Now, did you experience that other part? Just because and the reason I ask that is because someone can be a protector, but also be someone can be a protector while they're in front of people, but also be very overbearing and obnoxious and narcissistic when they're not around other people.
No, my baby, he was never narcissistic. Now, I'm not saying that I never experienced narcissistic. Now, I didn't really meet narcissistic until I turned 33. 33. And see, this is what I'm saying. Like I really wasn't I didn't really talk to a lot of men, when okay, so speaking of my husband, the guy that's in the book, he was very nice, loving, caring, very overprotective. He would only become aggressive if he felt like you opposed a threat to him and his family.
Right.
That's the only way. But like, he was never narcissistic, so I can't even. I know what narcissistic is now
Right.
that I started getting out there and talking to, other guys later on in life. I know what it is now. But my husband was not narcissistic. Was he abusive physically, mentally, emotionally behind closed doors? No. No, he
Gotcha.
was not mentally, physically, emotionally abusive behind closed doors. Uh did I meet somebody after him like that? Yes.
Ooh.
Not physically, but mentally, psychologically, and emotionally after.
So so you went from one guy that was very protective and you know loving and kind and caring, and then all of a sudden you kind of and I must just say downgrade from what you had, which is a protective
And
guy,
that's why
to
I miss him so much. That's why I had to write this book. That's why I had to put it out there because, yeah, I like to be honest. After he passed away, I kind of was looking for somebody to save me. You know,
ah
yeah, I was looking for. If we really being honest, I was looking for somebody to save me. But people that I would run into, they wouldn't save me. They actually would drown me more than what I already was because I was vulnerable. They was able to because I was already mentally and emotionally screwed up. They was able to drown me even more than what I was. Because once he passed away, I no longer had that overprotective feeling that I was longing for, that I
ah
wanted somebody to actually love, like had that one person to just love me. So
gotcha.
wife, that's the reason why it's because it could have been easily like this sequel could have been easily called Brick City Baby Mama or just Brick City Girl. But he actually made me feel like a wife. And he showed me the other side of the world. I wish I was shown books in school and how to succeed and survive. But as far as like being street smart, that's the part he showed me. I could walk in
Gotcha.
somewhere and I can buy a car on my own. I don't need a man with me. I can hang up TVs on the wall. I don't need a man to do that for me. I could put together a whole nightstand. I don't need a man to do that for me. A lot of that was learned with with my husband. A lot of that was learned with him. Hustling, how to hustle. Learned that with my husband. Um, how to cock back a gun. Learned that with my husband.
Gotcha.
Um, I don't know, like what else to say.
But I mean, I feel you on that. But I think I think at the end of the day, all those things, for me, the way, and this is just how I look at it, all those things are good. Learning how to be independent and things of that nature. But I think at the end of the day, because we're human beings, we want that. We want those intimate connections with
Mm-hmm.
one another. We want those connections to where we feel like someone envelops us in their love and their protection and their kindness, and that's something I think we as human beings all want to
Mm-hmm.
be. We want to, in essence, we want to be loved. In essence, we
Right.
want to be protected. In essence, we want to feel like we're safe and secure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think and this is just kind of sort of when I'm picking up. I think when your husband passed, a lot of those aspects that were already right there for you were painfully and suddenly removed, and
Strip.
now you had to find another way to supplement that.
Well, I could tell you now, at this point, there is no substitution. Fine.
True.
Like, yeah, I want to find somebody to supplement it, but that's what goes into play. Dating back in 2005 and dating now is crazy. So I pretty much had it real like an easy slide in back in the day. But
Right.
you talking about 2022 dating? Nah. That's a whole different ball game. And I'm really not even trying to be in the game at this point.
That's like playing Russian roulette, man.
Yeah, it is. At this point, I'm really not even trying to be in the game. It's either you with me or you not. You want to get on this bandwagon, then your energy gotta be clean. If not, then you hit in the door, pretty much.
Now, can you say from those experience, from one positive experience to the negative experience, was did that shape how you view, or not want to say how you view, but how you approach people now, or how people approach you, and how how you guard and protect your energy?
Yeah, because I'm not okay. Like I'm not saying everything with the husband was peaches and cream, because every
Right.
relationship go through their battles now.
Of course.
Because I had experiences where um he had his little side chicks or whatever that I had to deal with. Would I deal with a side chick now? Hell no. No, no, no. You cheat on me, you out the door. I don't even care. Like, because guys tend to say nowadays that us women, we need to settle. We need to take into consideration that it's a shortage of men. That's not true. If a
Well,
man really like you and he really like you and he want to be with you, you don't have to deal with all of that. So me dealing with what I dealt with back then with the girls and the side chicks and all of that, no, I wouldn't deal with that now. I'm too grown because I was young. I was young. And I really never was taught how to be a wife to a man. I was never taught that. Even though my dad was in the house up until up until I was 14, like he was physically there, but he was not mentally there. He wasn't emotionally there. He wasn't psychologically there. He was physically there. That's
Got
it.
you.
Like he was in my house, but showing me how a man's supposed to treat me, no. Showing me what a man how he's supposed to what he's supposed to do, no. I
Mm,
didn't get, and me as a woman being shown how to treat a man and be submissive and all that. No, I didn't learn any of that. A lot of that stuff I learned because I pretty much was thrown out there into the wolves. And that's one of my regrets of with my marriage. If had I known that I was supposed to sacrifice a lot, had I known that I was supposed to be more feminine and submissive to him, I think that we would have survived, and he probably still would have been alive to this day. And the only reason why I say that because we were separated when he passed away.
right.
We were not together. We were separated when he passed away. However, um he pretty much told me he didn't have anything to live for anymore. I'm gonna say like 2 weeks before he passed away, when he was sitting in my living room, I was like, "Why you keep running the streets?" And at this time, he must have been about 30, and I must have been about 32. I was like, "Well, why you keep, times is not how it was before. Like, you really need to slow down." He said, "Actually, to be honest with you, I don't really have nothing else to live for anymore." And then I started thinking about it, like maybe I should reconsider. Maybe I should reconsider my marriage.
Right.
But by then it was too late.
Wow.
We talking a 2 week span. By then it was too late.
Wow. So when he told you that, and then I think when you probably and usually when someone tells you something like that, that's like that's a big thing. Number one, and then it also kind of brings into the fact there's some things to consider. Well, why don't you feel like you have anything else to live for, or why are you feeling like this? Let's sit down and talk about it. Let's analyze it, and let's figure out a way to try to change that thought process. Did any of those things come to your mind when you mentioned that, or was it kind of like? And I'm not saying that I'm not saying this is your thought process, but I've I personally seen that. I personally experienced that. And that person said, "Oh no, baby, it'll be okay." What? If I'm telling you I ain't got nothing to live for, and I'm like on the razor's edge. I mean, come on, I'm hoping that you could talk me down from the ledge.
So actually, you told somebody that before,
Yeah,
and they told you, "Oh, baby, it'll be okay."
yeah,
That's it.
yeah. Oh
Then
yeah,
if that's all they told you, I could best rest assure you they was already mentally and emotionally fucked up too.
yeah.
Because if that's your answer to somebody that's crying out for help, because literally when you tell somebody that, that's you crying out for help. And if
Yeah,
a person didn't, like, if that's all they said, whoever you said that to, they was already mentally and emotionally fucked up.
that's true. That's true. Now, did you now? I'm not saying that you took that route, but I'm just saying it as a I'm just saying it as an example because, like I said, in most cases, when someone says that, for so I put it like this. So if any of my children would have said that to me, or if my significant other, the person I'm dating right now, would have said that to me, now immediately my antennas are going up.
Mm-hmm.
And automatically I'm going to be asking questions like, well, what's going on? What can I do to help? How can I help you? Instead of just being like, pat you on the back and send you on your way. Come on, that's craziness.
Well, no, I didn't. Only thing I said was, well, you got kids to live for. And he was like, well, I know they're gonna be good because you're gonna take care of them, and you're a good mother, so I know they're gonna be good. Did antennas go up for me? No. Did I feel any remorse? No. Um, was I don't. It didn't even affect me once he said that because, like I said, at that point we were already separated, and I had already went through my own. I had already went through my own experiences where I was already too done. Like I just was too through. I was over. I was over the marriage. I didn't even want to deal with the situation anymore. I didn't tell him he needed to go to counseling. I didn't say anything. I didn't even, no antennas went up because I was already crying inside myself. So a hurt person who's crying inside their self, how can you possibly help somebody? Because you can't even recognize that they're in pain. Because you so much in pain, you can't even recognize that they're in pain. So
That's
no, I
true.
didn't say anything. I just was like, oh, okay. And then he went on his merry way within like what maybe 7 to 10 minutes. I didn't even think twice about it
See,
because I was already emotionally wounded from the
gotcha.
marriage anyway. I was already it was the cheating. It was the cheating that got me. That really fucked me up. That's
Gotcha.
what really got me to the end of the marriage. Anything
Gotcha.
else could have been worked through. But if you can't show me that I'm the only person and you desire me and you love me, then it just can't work. Now for me, you know how many diseases is out here. I don't want to die from HIV and AIDS. I
Yeah,
want to
man.
die from natural causes
Yeah, man.
of
Yeah,
stuff.
man.
But no, I was already emotionally messed up. I was mentally and psychologically messed up because just imagine doing a jail bid with somebody, and they come home and y'all get married and y'all living together, but they constantly cheating on you. I just couldn't. I'm like, I dedicated all my time to you. I literally went to work, put money in your account. Not saying that he ain't put money in my account from in jail because he did.
Right.
Now I know people gonna ask like, how he put money in her account when he locked up? Come on now, we not gonna be stupid. We all know. We all know what goes. We know what goes on when guys is locked up. That's where the most money at. So doing all that dedication and time and things in that nature, and he came home and he messed around on me again. I couldn't take it no more. That
Wow.
destroys a woman. Do you know, like, that destroys you because now you feeling like you're not pretty enough as a woman. You feeling like you're not good enough as a woman. You're feeling like, well, am I just not enough? You need me and somebody else too. Like, or you need me and other women too. That destroyed a woman. And then
It
I didn't
does.
get the attention that I needed. Not only was he cheating, but he was also running the street. So I really didn't get that to, running the streets and cheating. So when do I get to see you when I'm constantly at work and you constantly hustling? So now I'm a woman. So all of that really pretty much took place towards the end, towards the end of the marriage. This didn't happen all, throughout the whole relationship. That's when I knew the marriage was coming to an end. That's when I knew.
Huh. I feel you on that. And so Miss Patty Berger said your husband loved you. It was all about Ashley, really.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said. That's my baby. Like, once I had to once I once he was gone, I didn't have another male best friend. Like that was my male best friend. So after he left, I was looking for another male best friend, but I never found him. Like the things I would do with him, like okay, if we ready to get deep into it, sharing sexual videos amongst each other, I can't really find nobody like that. And we close and we together, like we together. I want to be able to do that. I like he was my best friend. He opened me up to so much stuff that I had never experienced before, and
Right.
it was fun.
Right. And I think you'll be and I know just from you talking about it that you're forever grateful for those experiences and grateful for him to giving you those experiences.
Mhm.
It is sad that, number one that your marriage had to end, but also that, you know, that his life had to end, without some form of reconciliation or at least some form of, hearing, you know, I forgive you or I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. Could you forgive me? That's for me those are the sad things for me, and that's the kind of thing that kind of puts me in that emotional state. But I do want to ask you now. If and this is what I'm asking. If knowing what you know right now, if you were to I'll put it like this. So take the Ashley that is who you are today and put her in that same situation. What would you have done differently?
What would I have done different? Well, I would have listened. I would have listened to him because he was really crying out for help, and I really wasn't open. I was more of this selfish Ashley. It's all about me, 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 me. So I would have listened to him. I would have been more submissive. I would have been more feminine. I would have let him lead because I have a very hard problem with somebody telling me what to do. I have a very hard
Mm,
problem with that. I think we had a lot of tussling. Like he was like, "What you just listen? What you just listen?" It was hard for me to just listen, but I would have if I had the money back then, like really, really in the early stages, probably when we was like 23, 24. We would have relocated. I think that would have been a good therapy for both of us because the environment, the surroundings were very tempting. The surroundings was always like a you want to get out, but you get drawn back in. You want to get out, but you're sworn back in. So
stressful.
I definitely would have took him and relocated away from everybody so we can have our own marriage because we didn't have our own marriage. We had a brick city marriage. That means everybody was in it. The whole town had a say so. Everybody was in his ear about this and my ear about that when it should have been Brown. It should have been about the Brown fam, us. It shouldn't
Yeah.
have been about Brick City. Everybody knowing what we doing. Everybody knowing how we moving. Everybody want to know what Ashley doing. It just a lot. Just a lot.
Everybody's invested except the two people that's actually in it.
Exactly. And we were young, but see, we were young. So when you young like that, and you in your 20s, and you in your early 20s and your late 20s, you listening to everybody instead of each other. Because everybody want to give you advice. Everybody want to get. How you want to give somebody advice, and your situation didn't even work out? That's one. And but see, I was young. I was taking advice for people who didn't have whose situation wasn't even successful. I was
Yeah.
taking advice from them.
But see, it's different when you take advice from people who have longevity in a situation than it is to take advice from somebody who don't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, because now they're giving you what they think is sound advice when actuality is not really sound advice.
Coming
It's
from
just
where I'm from a city, big city, 15 minutes away from New York, 15 minutes away from Manhattan, 30 minutes away from the Bronx. Coming from where I'm from, nobody really has longevity. That's the reason why we live for today, not for tomorrow. Where I'm from, we live in a moment. So nobody really have longevity. It's almost like, okay, you here today, going tomorrow. We
mm,
experience that where I'm from. Like you could just be talking to somebody at the bus stop, and as soon as they go in the corner store, they gone. Like literally just got killed. Like, damn, I was just talking to old girl or old boy like 15 minutes ago. Where I'm from, there's not a lot of longevities, not a lot of long marriages, unless you're talking about bougie, unless people who lived up in Montclair or Maplewood or Union. But where we from, the bricks, it's not a lot of longevity here. We all pretty much live day to day basis. So it's pretty much like, okay, you tell a dude to leave you alone, right?
right.
He gonna leave you alone. Why? Because he got millions, I mean thousands of other girls he can go talk to today.
Mm,
It's not the country. It's not a rural area. Okay, if Tanisha don't want to talk to me, all right, fuck it. I'm not calling her no more. I'm about to go
exactly.
see what's up with Sabrina, and then I'm going to leave Sabrina go see what's up with Tanisha. Same thing with the women. Kels don't want to talk, then she going to Bob, and then forget Bob because he ain't paying the rent. So now she going to Rashid, whatever. So longevity, we never you he was the first male in his family to get married. He has a very, 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 very big family. Very. And he was one of the first males out of the sons or grandsons to get married. And then eventually, after he got married, other cousins and stuff, they started following up, getting married because he showed them the way.
Well, that's a good thing. That's the good thing that comes out of it, because when one person does it and they see it being done successfully, other people are going to follow suit.
Right,
But
yeah.
the one thing that you mentioned is, like, everybody in the whole city knew what you guys were doing. Everybody, like I said, and I said it earlier, everybody's invested except the people that are actually in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, to me, that's a huge and also weird disconnect, because you got it's y'all two right here in the middle. You got people that's talking in his ear, chirping in his ear. You got people that's chirping in your ear, and they're both trying to say, well, hey, you need to do this, or you need to do that. But then both of you two are just trying to figure out, well, what can we do? Just what can we do collectively to make this thing work, or
Right.
make or get it to where it can be something that's long lasting and things of that nature. But and when I look at that, though, like, that type of situation is, you always have to block out the noise, because what they chirping about has no bearing on what Ashley and what her husband are doing right now, because what Ashley and her husband are doing ain't nobody's damn business. That should be
Right.
private. That
That's
should
how
be
it should have been.
yeah,
But
that's
we were young. We were in our 20s. We didn't even know about marriage. All we knew is that we was in love and we wanted to be together and we wanted to have kids. That's all we knew. Like we didn't know anything about marriage. Like he was the first one in his family to even be married besides his grandmother and maybe a couple of his cousins. But and like I come from a family of marriages. I do. But had anyone sat me down and taught me and say, look, this is what a wife's supposed to do, This is what a wife is supposed to say. This is how a wife is supposed to help. This is how a wife is supposed to sacrifice.
Yes.
This is how a
Yes.
wife is supposed to, bring things to the table. I didn't get that. I pretty much was
Wow.
thrown out there to the wolves, and I learned as I go. Everything for me was every experience for me was hands on. Nothing was ever taught. I had the best experiences. And that's the reason why I took everything that I went through and I put it in a book, because I didn't have a manual. And most women don't have a manual. And most young girls coming up today, they won't have a manual.
Yeah. So when you say that, what is the biggest disconnect when it comes to, because you said most young girls won't have a manual. So what's the biggest disconnect that you see when you see young girls and then you see women such as yourself? So what's the biggest disconnect there?
As far as what? I don't
As
get
far
it.
as like you know what? Let's see. Because you mentioned earlier that you weren't you weren't taught how to be a wife. You wasn't taught how to be submissive. You weren't taught how to listen and things of that nature. And a lot of the younger generation are really kind of not into that either. So I think that's one disconnect. But what other disconnects besides not being communicative or not or anything else? What other disconnects besides that you see?
Okay, all right. So I didn't really want to touch on this topic because, but I'm going to touch on it anyway. Because I know a lot of people want to disagree with me, but I don't even really care. Okay, so,
Come on with it.
all right. So, okay, women nowadays, it's 2022, we got the better jobs. We got the money. We can do
Word.
everything a man can do. We could build, we can sell houses, we can build houses. We can
Word.
drive trucks like a man. We can get on a construction site like a man. So now in today's society, women are in the lead. Women are in the lead. Back then, there was a lot of things that men did that women couldn't do. So basically, we overpowered men at this time. Now
Right.
we overpower men. We feel like we can wear the pants in the house because because our salary is better. 'Cause
Right.
we make more money. Here's where the disconnect is, especially in our culture. We downgrade a lot of black men. The women downgrade a lot of black men, and that's
Facts.
wrong. And our younger girls, they seeing that. They seeing that in their parents. They seeing that in their bigger sisters. They seeing that even that like young girls, teenagers, they braid hair for money. So they already young entrepreneurs. So they already learn how to be independent young. Because a lot of young girls don't have fathers in the house. And they don't nobody's teaching them, nobody's showing them anything. So basically where I'm going with this is 2022 versus back in the day, 1992. Women are more powerful than men. So black women, I'm not even going to say black, I'm just going to say women, we tend to downgrade our men, which is wrong because we supposed to be using the resources that we have to build our men up. Because if you see a man and he needs your help, just because you the breadwinner don't mean that you're not supposed to build him up. You like that's what you're supposed to do. And I understand that they don't want to do it because they feel like, oh, men ain't shit. If he really was something, he'll go and get a better job or whatever. But that's not it. That's not it.
Right.
Maybe he didn't have a man in the household to teach him. He probably didn't have nobody around to tell him, well, son, you have to do this, you have to do that. We have to play. It's not the man's fault. Like, it's not his fault. He didn't have that role model in the household to show him what he's supposed to do with his wife. He didn't
Yeah,
have that role model to show him. So don't knock the black man down because he's not up there where you at. Us as black women, we gotta start building our men up. That's where the disconnect is. We're growing up, we becoming more stronger, more independent, and we giving them the boot instead of helping them. That's where the
true,
disconnect
true.
is.
And I think to me, to amplify your point just a little bit, is that now I'm gonna say before I amplify, before I say anything, the biggest example of for me as far as manhood was concerned, I had several examples. My father for one, my grandfather for two. I had several uncles
Mm-hmm.
who I watched and their actions I emulated. And for 22 years, I saw my father just treat my mother like she was a prince, like she was Princess Tiana.
Nice.
I for and for my mom and dad were married for 22 years, and for 18 of those years, I watched how my father treated my mom,
That's good. I didn't get to see that.
and even when my mother and father divorced, when even my mother and father separated, then eventually divorced, I still had examples with with my uncles and you know other guys, other cats that I was cool with. I watched them, have these nurturing, strong relationships. My uncle, which is my mother's brother, now we're the same age,
Mm-hmm.
and we grew up. We literally grew up together, and he's married. He's been married to the same lady, for the same woman, for geez, forever now. And it's crazy that I see that, and that was mine. Those are prime examples for me,
Uh-huh.
you know. But also the prime, I think it should be also be the same as prime examples for a female. A young lady should see how her father treats. If she has uncles or she has brothers, she should see how her brothers treat the women in their lives. But like you said, in both instances, with young men and young women, there's no father. There's no man. There's no male figure in a home. That's one disconnect, and you hit the nail on the head with that. The other disconnect that I see is that men and women are so much out of place right now. So much out of place.
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
And the woman said, you get have women that say, "Well, I'm the man, and I want to do this, and I want to do that." Wait a minute.
That used to be me.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's talk about the terms of this. Let's talk about the terms of this terms and conditions of this right now. I mean, and for a long time, I mean, for even in my marriage, and I I treated my ex wife like she was the best thing running. Until it got to the point where things just went too far downhill. You can't make it back uphill.
Mm-hmm.
And again, when to me the disconnect is when, well, I won't even say when, men and women are so out of place at this point. Women want to be in men's role so bad, or they want to be the ones that's on top so bad that they forget that, especially within a marriage, you're still supposed to be able to be led. It's okay for you to do certain things, but when it comes down to a marriage, you're supposed to be the one that's supposed to be led, not the one leading. Now you can now I don't have an issue with that in certain situations. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to established roles,
Mm-hmm.
if we're married, even though you make more money, and even I mean, and this I'm just using example. If we're married, and even though you will make more money than me, if that was to be the case, I'm still the head.
Yeah, but nowadays women don't look at it like that. It's almost and it's that's more than just that's more of a psychological emotional disconnect as
Yeah.
well because you don't want to once you become independent so young and you finally do get that male figure in your life who want to take over and take the lead role, you start to feel uncomfortable. And I can speak on that because that was me. I've always been the go getter. I've always been the not want to ask nobody type of person. Like how I told you, I could just go ahead and put a TV on the wall if I want to. But once
Right.
you get that male in your life who want to do those things, it's almost like you feel uncomfortable. You feel uncomfortable with it, with that, like, no, it's okay, I got it. You don't want to. That's more of an emotional and psychological disconnect because now it's like, is he supposed to do this for me? But if he do this for me, he gonna feel like he ruled me, and I don't want nobody feeling like they rule me or they, and the trend just goes on and on and on.
But the way I look at that is the way I look at that, and the way I've always looked at it from the standpoint of my marriage to the relationship that I'm in now. It's the concept of equivalent exchange.
Mm-hmm.
If you want something, you have to give up. You have to give something. If
True.
I'm, if I want something from you, then I have to give something. I have to give something first in order to get that, in order to get what I'm wanting. And a lot of people don't believe that the concept of equivalent exchange exists. It does. It exists more
Only
so in a
narcissistic
marriage.
people feel like it don't exist.
But it had but you have to believe in that concept because how do how will you how as a husband and wife, or even someone that's in a committed relationship without without the ring or the marriage part of it, how are you going to be able to grow and prosper together if you don't have, if that concept isn't something that's solid or that's at least talked about? You have to, because again, you have to give to get. You have to give to get. There's nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You got to bring something. You have to have something to give in order to get, in order to give something, in order to have something given back to you. You know what I mean?
Right. Equal give and take.
Exactly. But everybody looks at it as 50-50. I'm sorry, man. It's not 50-50. It's 100-100.
Right.
If you giving me 50% of you, then that
Then
doesn't
I'm not
work.
getting all of you. Right.
Yeah, you give me 50, then that doesn't work. Why would you give me half of you
Right.
if I'm giving you all of me? It don't work.
That's narcissistic tendencies. Anybody that come and say, hey, if I gotta like I'm just constantly taking, and I'm not giving nothing back. That's a narcissistic person. Somebody who feel like it's all about them.
Yeah, for
And the
sure.
world revolves around them. And no matter what you say to them, well, why I didn't get like, okay, I give you I got a watch on the bed waiting for you when you come home from work. 3 months go by, I don't even get flowers. Well, you didn't get flowers because you decided to get that watch because that was your choice. That's narcissistic. Period. Like
Not the type of
that's
behavior I even
annoying.
man, not the type of behavior that I even indulge. Not the type of behavior that I indulge in or I even accept at this point.
Well, I didn't even know what that was until
Until
I
you
got in my
experienced it.
yeah, until I got in my 30s. And you know what? I'm quite sure that God has some more experiences for me. I know he's not done yet because it's like actually in order for me to build you to be who you supposed to be, who you really are, I have some other missions and I have some other things that I need you to go through so you can become, you know, this person that I need you to be. And that's why I'm so like a lot of people look at me and they think I'm this strong person, but they don't know what goes on in my background because I don't, you know, the Father, the Most High, that's who knows everything that goes on. That's who I
That's it.
cry to. That's who I get on my knees and I pray to and I tell everything because if you telling people your business, they just listening. And they asking a million questions, but they not helping the situation.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
And let me get back since we leading in that pal, I gotta get back to you on this topic. I heard you say something about it had to be hard for us not to have a reconciliation, me and my husband, before he passed away.
Yeah. I mean, and the reason I say that is because and the reason I say that is because it when I thought when you spoke about it, and then I thought about it. The first thing that I said, there was a lot of unanswered questions, and there was a lot of things that were left on the table.
It was not. It wasn't
Really,
no unanswered questions. And
really.
any yeah, there was no unanswered questions. There wasn't anything left on the table. We pretty much we talked. Like I said, that was even though we wasn't together, that was still my friend. So we still actually had conversations. Um, Let me say this. I was at peace because I'm very spiritually gifted. Okay.
Hmm.
I Let me just say this. I can't really get into it's almost like this. The closure I needed, I got that closure from him when when we had our last conversation.
Okay.
He came to me in my dream and he told me the reason why um we ended up the way we did. He told me I heard it. I heard him. Like this literally happened to me in my dream. So I don't know if it was a dream or did I really actually see him and talk to him. He told me the reason why we ended off the way we did. And he told me I heard him. He said when I got locked up for the last time, when I went to jail for the last time, you left me and you never came back. And that hurted me. That hurted me to the core. And as your husband, you were supposed to stick with me through thick and thin, to death do us part. No matter what I did, no matter how I got incarcerated, you left me. And that
Wow.
hurted me. So because you did that, I was going to make sure that every day I got the chance, I was going to hurt you emotionally, even more.
Oh.
So did I get my closure? Yes, I got my closure. Nobody, no, only two people knows that story, and which is really not a story, is actually closure. I He came to me, I asked for him to talk to me, and that's what I got. And I know, like he said, he was hurt. He even told me that when he was alive, he told me he was hurt. That the last time he got incarcerated, I left and I never came back, and that hurted him as a husband. So he said he was going to make sure that every day I was going to hurt and feel the same exact pain that he felt when I left him. So I had got my closure. See, a lot of people not spiritually in tune with God. That's where you find your peace at. People want to. You can't find peace in people on this earth. You cannot find peace in man. The
Nope.
peace come from the Almighty Father. He's the one who has your life set out for you. He's the one who has your life plans out for you. He knows what he wants for you.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh yeah.
very spiritually in tune with God. So I'm always at peace. One thing about Ashley, I'm gonna make sure I say what I gotta say. I don't care what if it's gonna hurt your feelings or it's not, but you're gonna know how I feel about a certain situation before I close the door on you.
Right, right. And I guess once you found that peace about it, I guess that made things and I'm gonna assume it made things so much a lot better, or at least it brought some form of understanding.
I had understanding. I knew, because it's almost like you know what you're doing. It's almost like you know what you're doing, to a person.
Yep,
Everybody know when they're hurting somebody. Everybody knows that.
exactly.
So why would you feel like, okay, I don't understand why this person treating me this way? You know why, because you know what you did. Now you just flat out got a person that's treating you bad, because that's not your person. Just
That's true.
that's just not it. But I did have a lot of understanding. I did get a lot of understanding. So just to say, like, once he passed away, there was no unanswered questions. Any questions I had for him, I got my answers on the night he sat on my living room couch. I got a lot of my answers that night. And we still was friends. We just wasn't in the relationship.
Right. Wow. And with with some women in that situation, and I won't say all women, but some women, I know with some women it could be a lot of anger, resentment, a lot of a lot of strong negative emotional responses to that. But for you to find, that peace and that solace through that says a lot. That speaks a lot to, number one, your character. And also just it also speaks to your faith too. Number one, your faith, and then number two, your character. Because, and I'll say this, and I ain't trying to offend nobody, but a lesser woman would have went slap off and would have been angry and would have been bitter about it for at least for an indeterminate amount of time.
Yeah, true. Because she's not healed. That's a woman that's not healed.
That's right.
I'm a healed woman. And the only way how I'm healed, because God led me through every path. Every single storm I had, every cry I had, I literally can be in the bank, standing at the teller, handling my business, and start crying. They don't know why I'm crying. I don't even know why I'm crying. I'm just crying. And then what happens next week? A breakthrough. That's people that's not healed who be bitter and they go through a lot because they don't have faith. They just basically just walking around as a soul, like just a
Right.
soul, just walking around, just scattered, not doing nothing, not trying to find a purpose, not trying to even have faith as small as a mustard seed.
They don't know about that mustard seed faith. They don't know
They
about that mustard seed
they
faith.
don't. I got. Let me tell you, my faith big as my faith bigger than the house. My faith is all over the place because I've always been through some stuff. Nobody, I never found comfort in people. Like, if we really talking about Ashley, I never really found comfort in people. That's the reason why when I said to you earlier that when he passed away, I was looking for somebody to save me. I was always with the random friends who I thought would be able to make me feel comfortable. I was always looking for somebody to save me, not and then became to realize that the only person that was saving me was the man above. And that's how I started healing. And a lot of things that I've been through and still going through is all life experiences.
That's
We
it.
go through things for a reason. Nothing is meant to happen for no reason. Stuff just don't happen for no reason. Stuff always happen for a reason. That's
That's
why
it.
I'm able to lay my head down at night and go to sleep and know that me and my children are going to be okay, because I got somebody who loves me more than anybody would ever love me in this world, and that's the man up above. I don't need nobody to hug me every night or anything like that. I got somebody who gonna come rescue me when my car break down. I got somebody who gonna come in the hospital and tell the doctors they a damn lie because she going back home tonight. That's that man upstairs. It's
You better
not
say that, girl. You
don't
better say
know.
that.
I'm telling you, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come up on here and turn this into.
Ah, you good. You good. No
I
worries.
didn't
No
mean to come
worries
up on
here.
here and turn, but like I'm brick city wife, young girl, naive to the world of what's going on outside. She really don't know what's going on outside till she meet the love of her life, experience her, show her the real world, what's going on outside of them doors of your mama house, outside of the cheerleading squad. I'm gonna show you what's going on outside of Bradley Court, outside of Lil Brad. I'm gonna show you what's really going on out here. Got out there, experienced it, had my kids, got married. Uh Man, let me tell you, the story just goes on and on and on and on. And from where I'm at now, if it wasn't because of that man upstairs, I wouldn't even be where I'm at. I wouldn't be.
Man, I'm telling you that that's where it's at. And the one
That's
thing that
definitely where it's at.
the one
People gotta get with the program.
oh yeah, oh yeah. And the one thing that you touched around it, but I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out there now. We especially with all the things that you've been through, it just that process of being peeled away like an onion till you get to the deepest part of that onion, and that's where the real you lies. And a lot of us don't like the a lot of us, and I won't say a lot of us, I'll say most of us as human beings, we do not want to go through that peeling process, because every layer we peel away, we gotta deal with that layer. We gotta purge that from ourselves. And every time we peel something back, it hurts just a little bit more, and we gotta deal with that. We don't want to deal with the peeling part.
Oh,
We want to be healed right then and there. That's because we live in this microwave society.
mm-hmm.
But nobody wants to go through the process of
Nobody.
being peeled away, of being peeled. Nobody wants to go through the process of being submerged and stretched.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to deal with that or go through that, because they want the healing stuff right now, right now. I want to be healed right now. Can you handle this? Can you do this right now for me? No. And guys always says no, this process is gonna take some time. And you're gonna sit here and you're gonna take all the time that's needed for this to happen, and you ain't gonna like it. It's not gonna be beautiful. It's not gonna be pretty. It's not even gonna be fabulous. It's gonna be ugly as hell. Is and that's the one, that's the deal, and that's another disconnect that I see. Even with our younger men and women, you know, they've been exposed to a whole lot
Yeah.
within, I'd say, the last 10 to 20 years or so. They've been exposed to a lot. And all that stuff, you know, childhood abuse, sexual abuse, constant violence in the neighborhood, witnessing police violence, all this stuff that goes
They,
down. Those are layers, and all those layers got to be peeled away. And nobody wants to do that. They don't want to get down to the brass tacks of who you are,
who
to
you
basically
really
to see
are.
that person. And because let's just I'm just gonna say it right now, because really, once you get to all that, once you peel all those layers away, basically it's gonna be a scared and timid and very vulnerable young little girl or little boy once you pull all those layers away.
Yeah, I agree. And I might be on pause because I still have a layer of me that that's not even fully healed yet. And I'm not even going to touch bases on that on this show because I can't. I'm not even ready to open up about that because I gotta confront the person before I even let that be my story. I gotta be woman enough to confront that person first.
There you go.
And we talking about me being a baby, like 3 and 4 years old. So as far as like peeling the layers, I'm 35 now, but I still remember. You know what I'm saying? Like I still remember. So, but you gotta come to reality with stuff like that. You gotta come to reality with it, and that's all the stuff throughout life that you go through. This is all the stuff that makes you who you are. And I'm so much more pure now. I'm so much more loving of myself, so much more open of myself. Let me tell you, Frederick, it was a time in my life recently. I'm gonna go back as far as like, let's say a month and 2 months ago. I could not see myself without wearing a wig. I could not see myself. I said, look, I gotta put on a wig because I'm not gonna be pretty without this wig. Now I wouldn't even put weave in my hair. I don't because I'm to the point where I found myself. Like I don't need that. I don't need the wig. It was a time when I would wear makeup because I felt like I wasn't pretty without the makeup. I don't even wear makeup anymore. Like I stripped myself with all the trials and the tribulations that I've been through life. I stripped myself of makeup and wigs. I don't even want to. I'm not saying that I won't touch it. I would. I'll put it on.
Right.
But for me to get here now, to even let the world see me with my own hair and no makeup, you know how much shit I've been through to get to that point. I used
Yeah.
to go to sleep with makeup on.
Oh man.
But nah, not now. You can't tell a sister girl nothing now. I'll step out, no weave, no makeup, and it's all about all of this stuff just made me see who I am. Everything I've been through, it made me see who I am. Who is actually who's actually really is.
Yeah. All those things come to fruition. And then once you really see yourself for the person that you really are, the beautiful person, the smart person, the intelligent person, the vibrant person that you are, man, look, there's nothing that else, there's no greater feeling than that. Especially when you tell it to yourself and you actually believe it and you embrace it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we talking about peeling layers. It's just all a part of life's journey. That's all it is. Because everybody has their own path, their own journey that they supposed to go on in life, and you have to do it to find you. There is no you. There is no jumping the gun. There is no I gotta skip part 3 and go to 4. No, you gotta go through all of them parts. And when I tell you that I went through them. Like I literally went through them. So this book is just part 1. This book is just only introducing how when we first met. This is just Brick City White part 1, but this sequel is broken down into 5 different series. Next one will be coming out in April. Um, because see, our Brick City Wife, I Just Life was broken down in 5 different parts. First part when she met this guy and she fell for him really, really fast.
Mhm.
This was all you know how when a relationship first starts, everything is peaches and cream, you in your honeymoon stage.
Yeah.
Then you got the second part sequel too, where it's the honeymoon stage, half drafting into some bullshit. Cause now this is the
Oh.
part where like, damn, like where I get sequel part two is where I start to get I start thinking, like, well, why he outside all times of the night? Well, he loved me, so he wouldn't really do that. So that's like kind of like the honeymoon slash. Now we getting deep into what's about to go down.
Oh.
Season three is when it really go down. Like we deep under and we in. People getting locked up. People fighting. Like
Ooh.
that's part three. Sequel four is almost like we deep in, but we coming out the storm. We almost to the end of the relationship. And sequel five is pretty much the end. That's pretty
Got
much
you.
the ending of everything. But it gets real deep and nastier than that. It gets nastier. It gets more violent. It gets more crazy. It gets more seductive. It gets more pushy. This sequel gets way more nastier. Not as far as sexually. I'm talking about as far as what what happened. It
Oh.
goes down. It goes down in the Brick City. It goes down in the Brick City novel. It goes down in the sequel. Okay, it
You
gets
better,
real in here.
better get down in the deep in the bowels of that thing, ain't you?
It do. Yes, it do.
Man, y'all, I'm
Yes, it
telling you,
do.
it's it's a wonderful thing when you realize that you can it's a wonderful thing when you realize that you're changing and you're changing for the betterment and for the betterment of yourself. For me, that has always been my constant struggle for that with that.
Mhm.
But just to kind of hear, just to hear you, you know, when you say that you're at peace with so much, and that you're content with a lot of things, and you understand and you accept all the things that happen from the time your marriage started to the time your marriage ended, and then you're even more content with the person you are right now. That speaks so many volumes, and that for me that speaks a lot of volumes. But it also gives, someone like me who's still kind of, searching for that buffer part, to be that buffer end of it, to try to how do you navigate being a better person, and how do you, do all that it gives me hope. It really does. So I really do appreciate that.
It gives you hope. So you don't feel like you've gotten to that healed stage yet.
There's still some things I'm pushing through and I'm working through. There's
Mhm.
some things I haven't necessarily accepted yet, and then there's some people I still need to apologize to.
Oh, okay. Then that's probably what it is because you still have some unspoken, some unopened conversations that need to be had. That's the key to it. People always want to hold on to grudges and stuff for years, or they want to keep things, to themselves, or feel like things shouldn't be spoken. But one thing about me, if it's on my mind, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna talk about it. I don't care how I get it out, but you're gonna know about it.
That's what's up.
They be like, dang, like, did she have to say that? Yeah, I had to say it. Maybe not the way I said it, but it had to be said. And I'm going to, and even if I offend someone, I'm going to say, you know what? I'm sorry. I really apologize. I really didn't mean to say it like that. And even now, I'm not going to, if I feel like something's not working, I'm going to say, listen, I'm sorry. I apologize. But, you know, this is not it. This is not how you supposed to go through life. I mean, I've been through a lot. I've
Mhm.
been to be 35 years old, I've been through a lot. And I'm not talking about a lot like because when a person say they've been through a lot, people in their head be like, oh, well, she was on drugs before, or she like what she mean. You know how we tend to think.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a lot like that. When I say I've been through a lot, I'm talking about where though I learned not to put trust into human beings. I learned to only trust I can't even trust myself. It's I can only pray and wish and hope for the best, and I know it's always gonna be there because I have my faith. I walk around with a whole bunch of I walk around with a whole bunch of faith. I don't walk around with sight at all.
Mm,
I walk around feeling like I got wings on my back. That's literally how I feel. So I'm healed in so many different areas of my life, except for one. And that has nothing to do with this book. That's a
right.
whole nother life experience from back when, has nothing to do with this book.
That's what's up, though. I mean, like I said, that's a blueprint for a lot of people. To go to walk with, or even take on. It's not like it's not like what you went through was rocket science, or what it was an easy road to travel down,
Not
and
at
you
all.
you traveled down that road, and you got to the end of that road, and you got what you needed, which was the healing and the understanding, and the burdens that you carried on your shoulders throughout that journey are now just gone, and now you can just live life, unapologetically, and much more prosperously than you probably would have had you not did any of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, any apologies that I needed to give to anybody, they've already got them.
That's it.
They've already got them. And if you looking at me right now and you feel like I owe you an apology, I don't. Like, why? I mean, I've already I've already given out apologies to everybody who deserve them. And I'm not a bad person. I've never really done wrong to people. You know what? A lot of people always done wrong by me. Always done
Right.
wrong by me. That's where a lot of my lessons come from. Me being too overly nice to people. I'm a giver. Like, I'm a big giver. I'll give a person, like, if I only have $1, I'll give that person not 75%. I'm not giving a person 75% of my dollar. And a lot of people know this about me. That's why I've been used a lot, because I'll
Right.
give a person my last dollar, because my mindset is, since you so greedy for this dollar and you feel like you need to have it and you can't survive without it, here, take this dollar. As long as you'll be okay, I'm gonna get more back. I've done so much for people. Let me tell you, I've done so much for people that I've never posted it on social media what I've done. I see a lot of people, they give back, they help somebody in the store, but they be on their phone recording that stuff. Why? What was the point? You don't do that. I mean, when you give to somebody, it's not for everybody to see. That's not for everybody to know. That's only for you to know. I will give somebody my last dollar. Why? Because I know I can make that dollar back plus more. That's where the hustler in me come in at. And that's also where my faith come in at. So I can give somebody my last, but I know by the next day or 2 days later, I'm going to have triple that. That's only because I'm God's favorite and he loved me. So he going to make sure that I'm taken care of anyway.
Exactly. Exactly. And besides, true charity doesn't require likes, shares, or comments. It doesn't. True
Yeah.
charity don't require that. It just
Yeah.
requires you to it really just requires you to have a heart after God's people.
Yeah.
And really that's the sole requirement.
Hmm.
And that you're willing to give of yourself for those people.
Right.
All these likes and shares and stuff that people be doing just because of, nah, man, come on. They ain't it, y'all. If somebody's doing something, that's undercover and ain't nobody know, ain't and don't nobody know about it.
I
And
blessed a lot of people. And you
and
know what? And you know what's funny? I've been done dirty afterwards. Afterwards, I was told that I got you. Oh, they used you. That's okay. If you felt like you used me, that's okay. Cause the man upstairs was watching.
yep,
Oh, it's only he get the last say so, not me. So that's fine.
that's it. That's it. And besides, I was even I'm doing it out the kindness of my heart. So I already know that there's a risk that I could be used. So it doesn't matter.
That's me. That's me. I already know it's a risk. Like, look, this person could be used. That's fine because in my heart, my intentions are always good. I'm always pure. So I'm doing it because I'm doing it with pure intentions.
That's it.
Not, and I understand once you walk away, you could say, "Hey, shit, I got this, I got that." That's fine. I do. That's fine with me. But you better be ready for when your time come, cause I'm good. I'm good over here.
Yep. Every
And that's what I love about me. That's one of my weaknesses. Having a good heart and being a great giver to people. That's one of my weaknesses. That's why I say I've been done dirty by people. And that's why I don't put trust in no man. When I'm not saying a man, I'm not saying like literally a male. I'm saying men on earth. I'm talking about humans on earth. I don't
yeah.
put trust in anybody. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. I only put my trust in God. He gonna lead me where I need to go. He gonna put me where I need to be at, and he gonna lead people to me. That's how it all works out. People are led to me, and I'm led to somebody.
That's true. That's true. And then one thing, and like I think one somebody's just mentioned that, when you give of yourself without giving to yourself, you get burned out. And that's important because you do have to give back. You have to give back to yourself.
Yeah, you do. Oh,
Just
trust me, I give back to myself now. I treat myself a lot. See, people always wonder, like, let me tell you one thing about me, Frederick. People sit back and I let me remind I'm sending out W-2 forms for a lot of people who was in my business last year and they know who I'm talking about. Calling my mother up, want to know how this, how that, why this, why that, calling everybody up. I'm sending them all W-2 forms. See, people are like, well, how Ashley get this? How she could afford to do this? Well, how can she have that? Well, she only do listen. It's not that. I treat myself. And it's only one way that I could treat myself. Because the most high he loved me. So he see what I do behind the scenes. So I'm allowed to be blessed in return. And I get back what I want. I get it
well,
back. People like how she a single parent and she live in that big old 4-bedroom house like that, and she drive that, and then she got this and she got that because I am a person with a good heart. It's a difference. It's a difference when you a person with a good heart and you doing it out of pureness of your heart, and you not out here bragging to people, and God is watching you, you're gonna be blessed. You're gonna be blessed 10 times than what you was before.
oh yeah. Oh yes. That and they don't understand that blend when you bless somebody, you get blessed back. You get double for your trouble.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I got back triple, and I'm still gaining. But that's only because I keep the faith. That's only because of that. I don't worry. I don't worry at all. I can say right now that I'm a fully healed woman from everything that I've been through. I'm no longer in the state of New Jersey. I don't. I don't reside there because I wanted to show my kids that, better can be done. You don't have to be stuck and cooped up in one location. I might be in California next year. Who knows? I'm definitely not going to be stuck in one place.
Yeah,
It's all about enjoying life and doing what you need to do.
yeah, and then
I have a purpose. I didn't know I had a purpose in life when I was young. When I was in my 20s, I had a purpose. I didn't know I actually had a purpose. But now that I'm Ashley Burgess Brown, I know that I have a purpose now. And I know. I didn't know before because it's like it was almost to me like before I wrote the book, right? It was almost to me like, well, why did I go through all of this? Am I really going to experience these type of things that I'm going through? Am I really going to watch all of this happen in front of me? Am I really going to accept that all of this actually happened to me and I'm not going to write about it?
oh yeah,
I had to write about it because somebody somewhere is experiencing the same thing. Somebody somewhere is going to experience the same thing. And then I also have young women, even women my age, women older than me, call me. They want advice. I give it to them. And Frederick, the only reason why they call me is because they seen my life play out in the public, so they know that they know I'm not lying. You know how
exactly.
some people can put on this facade, like, oh, this happened, that happened, and I've been through this, I've been through that, and they really haven't. No, people actually seen me experience these things. So coming from seeing me experience this stuff onto what's going on now in my life, and they watching me and they see what's going on in my life, they like, dang, she came a long way.
Yes, yes,
Really?
indeed.
So I'm about to call her and ask her. I'm the one. I'm the one.
Wow. So you the one that they seek out for the advice, huh?
I'm Brick City wife. Hey, would they wouldn't even have it no other way.
I no doubt of that. Of that, I have no doubt, no doubt at all. But yo, this has been a very good conversation. First of all, I've truly enjoyed you being here. And when your second and third when your second book comes out, I would love to have you back so we could talk about that book and also, you know, the matriculation from first from part one to part two. So most definitely want to have you back.
Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed coming to the Author's Alley on Trailblazers Radio.
Oh,
Thanks
I
for having me.
I appreciate that, but I can't let you leave without, giving yourself I can't let you go without giving yourself a shameless plug. So I'm gonna let you have the floor for just a moment, so you can just say everything you can ever say about yourself. Let everybody know where they can find you on social media, your books, everything.
Okay, well, you can look me up. So, as my famous saying is, don't play with me, Google me. So you can type my name in on.
I
You can
love
type,
it.
yeah. People like to play. Listen, I don't want to get too ghetto, but don't play with me. Google me. You can look up Ashley Burgess Brown, type my name in the search bar on Google, or you can type in Brick City Wife on Google. My link will pop up to Amazon. You'll be able to find my book, the part one, and everybody who makes a purchase, as long as you can show me that you made a purchase, I have my bookmarks that I will send out to your house for free. You can use these bookmarks any and every way. You can use them as a page stopper, any kind of way. You leave a review on Amazon under my book. Then you get a free Brick City Wife mug that's also on my page. Everything is Brick City Wife on Facebook, Instagram, and everything is under Ashley Burgess Brown. So it's really pretty easy to find me.
That easy, huh?
And I'm just Brick City's wife. I'm just the wife of Brick City, the little young naive girl that her mom kept her in the house. I was only allowed to go outside when the street lights was on. But when it got dark outside, I had to come in the house, and she made me be in every single program there was. I had no downtime. I had to be in every single club until I got into college. And my mother still was overprotective. Even when I got into college, she used to, before we go, I don't know if my mother's still watching, but she used to irk me. You ever seen a college kid go to college and your mother work right across the street, and she know your last class end at 9:15 p.m.? She used to drive around the whole campus to find my little green Ford Taurus parked right next to my car and say, "All right, time to go home." That's why when I met my husband before I became Brick City Wife, I left off into the sunset with him. Thank
Ah,
you.
that's what's yeah, that's I'm glad when I turned 8, when I turned 17, I got the hell out of Georgia. Got the hell out of Georgia. Ended up in the most beautiful journey ever, serving in the military, which was, stressful but beautiful at the same time.
Right. Okay.
So I'm
That's good.
glad I got
At
the hell out. I'm
17,
glad I
that's
got the
young.
yeah, yeah. Had
You
to make
graduated at 17.
yeah, had to make a decision and be like, yeah, can't stay here. Got to do something different.
Right, right. Okay. That's good. Thanks for having me, Frederick. I really have enjoyed you tonight. I really did.
Oh, oh yeah, but most definitely. Oh, we most definitely gonna have you back for this. Most definitely. And
Oh, thank you.
the last question I always ask my guests before they leave and before we conclude this particular show, you know, everybody knows that life is a marathon and everybody is at one particular stage of that marathon or another. Most people are at the beginning stage to where they're just coming out the gate. Other people at the middle stage where they're at a good pace and they're running their race. And then some people are more closer to the finish line, which is they see the finish line and they're just either they're coasting or they're beginning to pick up their pace a little bit more as so they can finish strong. When you look at your life from your beginning, your middle part of it and where you are currently. So when the culmination of your life from birth to now, what part, and also when this is combining your experiences and also your books and also your charitable things that you do. What stage of this marathon are you at right now?
I've already finished, Frederick. I've already finished. I passed the finish line.
What?
I passed the finish line. I'm a divine healer. I'm a healer. I've already found my purpose in life. That's the reason why people come to me and they ask me, well, how did you get through this? And how did you get through that? Only way how people are going to come to you and they're going to confide in you and they're going to ask you all these questions and they're going to want to be under you because they sense that you have this healing vibration towards them. It's something that you know that can help them. I have things that I've said on social media that had people jump in my inbox and say, listen, I needed that today. Only reason why I needed to hear you say that today, because I was just about to pop me a Molly in the next hour if somebody didn't help me. I'm at the
Wow.
finish line because I already know my purpose. That's the reason why I am who I am today. I'm happy with my life. I'm okay. I'm not, I'm a healer. That's just me. So at the finish, God already showed me the reason why He took me through all these stages in my life. He needed me to experience all of this stuff because He knew that it was going to be more people in this world who needed who I needed to touch, who I needed to heal.
Man. So you're the first person in out of a whole bunch of people that are on the interview, and I can and I won't say the exact number, but I say a whole bunch. That's not bragging. That's not bragging. That's not bragging, y'all. I'm not bragging. So I apologize. But you're the first person out of a whole bunch of people that I've interviewed that say they're at the finish line. And there's only two people that I've interviewed that said that. You're the second one.
We know our purpose. The ones who told you that they wasn't at the finish line, did they tell you what their purpose in life was?
Nope. But they told me where but they always told me where they what they were working towards.
Right. They told you what they were working. They don't even know what they're working towards. Their plans are not God's plan. People make plans. That don't necessarily mean that's the plan that God has for you. That's why people get disappointed. I could tell you I'm working towards buying a house in the next 3 years. But when 3 years come, God might say, no, you're not buying a house. That's not what I wanted you to do. I need you to have 10 airplanes to fly them over there to other countries and go help somebody, go help some families. See, that's the thing. I never made plans. I never told anybody what I was focusing on because I don't know. Only God knows that. So that's why I'm saying people, I know, we know, me and whoever that other person is, we already know who we are. We already know what our purpose is in life. We're not telling you what we're working towards. No shade towards anybody. But our
Right.
plans are not God's plans.
There we go. And I can't even put it any plainer than that. So that's I love how you put that because it makes so much sense in the great in the bigger picture in the greater scheme of things. So I appreciate that. I appreciate your candor on that, and also just being very honest with yourself and where you are in the stage of life that you are in now. Yeah. Most people wouldn't say they would. Most people wouldn't even say they finished their race. I know if someone asked me that question, I'd probably be like, "Ooh, shit, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell them because I'm not sure where I am right now. So for you, no, seriously,
Yeah.
that's being serious. But for you to say that you finished and you realized your purpose, I mean, you're one of a a select few people, and I won't say and I'm pretty sure there's more people more than just the two people that I interviewed that say that they finished their race because I'm pretty sure there's more people out there who have finished their race and finally determine what their purpose is.
Uh-huh.
You just one of the select few people that have that know that your race is done and that you're walking in that purpose and you're walking that
Yes.
purpose out.
Yes, I am. I'm walking in my purpose.
That's it.
I'm a
I can't.
divine healer, Brick City wife.
I'm a I'm gonna steal that just so you know. I'm gonna
And
steal
don't
that.
play with me, Google me.
See, I'm gonna steal that one too. I'm gonna steal that one too. I'm most definitely gonna steal that one too. But Ashley, I've enjoyed you being here tonight. I appreciate you taking the time out of your Friday night to come in, spend a little time with me tonight, and talk about your book, talk about your story, and everything of that nature. I am truly appreciative of that, and I would love to have you come back and we can talk about part two and everything else that's going on.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank
Not a
you.
problem. Not a problem. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's going to conclude this episode of the Author's Alley. How with my beautiful guest, Miss Ashley Brown. Brick City Wife is currently available right now on Amazon. You guys go scoop that up. Check her out on Facebook and check her out on Facebook and all her social media, Instagram at Brick City Wife. Good information there. She's always dropping a positive line there. I actually went to her Facebook page myself, and she's always dropping a positive line for somebody. So go check her out on Facebook. But most importantly, go purchase her books, y'all. As people, as creatives, as authors, and anybody who does the things that we do. First and foremost, this is not easy. It's not easy for me to come up in front of a microphone and speak to somebody such as Ashley. And it's not easy for Ashley to sit down and write all her experiences on a piece of paper, then transcribe that to a laptop, and then put it in a book. That's hard work and a sacrifice. So by purchasing her book or by following or liking her Facebook page, that just not only does it show support, it also shows that you're genuinely interested in what she's doing. You know, she mentioned it earlier, and I will amplify this. Book reviews for us as writers are so very important. The reason I say that is because good reviews or bad reviews, those reviews help us improve as writers. So that way we can keep creating more robust stories for you guys. Because really we don't do this. We do this for our betterment because it's our life story and it permeates the page. But the main reason we do this is because there's somebody out there that has had the same experience that we had, and we want to make sure that that person gets to understand that, hey, you're not the only one that has this experience. I've been there too. Let me show you how I got it. Let me show you how I got out of that experience and found my peace. So I can't stress that enough, y'all. Again, Brick City Wife, Big City Wife, the series part one is available currently right now on Amazon. Part two is on the way. So you guys keep, yes, ma'am, keep your eyes and ears open for that. And also just continue to follow her on Facebook and on her Instagram pages and wherever else you can find her on social media. Like she said, don't play with me, Google me. So,
Thank
and
you.
that's gonna conclude this episode of the Author's Alley, ladies and gentlemen. But be back here on Monday, where My Life Destiny podcast is coming at you. You guys tune into that on 8 o'clock, and also on Tuesday when the takeover with Bobby comes back again with you guys. I might have a pop up show for you guys on Wednesday, and then My Life as Destiny comes back to you again on Thursday, and then another great episode of the Author's Alley comes at you guys on Friday. On behalf of my guest, Miss the Brick City Wife, Miss Ashley Brown, and myself, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Author's Alley on Trailblazers Radio, presented by Uppity Negro Apparel and sponsored by My Life as Destiny podcast. We want to thank you guys for tuning in to us. And the three things that I always want to tell everybody is: number one, take care of each other. Number two, be good to each other. Last but most certainly not least, y'all know the world that we live in today. So the most important thing I want you guys to do is stay safe. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all so very much for following for tuning in tonight. You guys have a very safe and wonderful Friday evening and a great weekend. Good night, y'all.
Good night. God bless.